Oh, I'm so glad you're here. How's your 2025 going so far? Yeah, do you feel older? No? You're just anxious to get back to school, aren't you? Yes, you are. Okay, I've got some stuff here that we're going to use for our children's time so that we can learn something about the story that the adults are going to hear. The story of when Jesus was a boy, when he was 12 years old. Can you guess what I have here? Let's see, this thing likes to get bigger when it is put in the microwave. Close. Yes, I got some microwave popcorn. This likes to get soft when it swims in water, boiling water. It goes in soup. Pardon me? It goes in. It's in soup before you put the crackers. What kind of noodles are these? I don't know. They're the swirly kind of noodles. And this is the hard one. It's a fruit that is sweet, but then when you let it sit in the sun, it gets sweeter and shrivels up. I don't think we're going to get this one. Dried apricots. Any apricot allergies? Okay. So here's what we're going to do. You know how when you go to, here we go. You go to children's worship and you hear a story and then you get to say, I wonder about this part of the story. The story that we're going to hear today is about when Jesus was 12 and he was traveling with his family. They didn't have minivans back then. They walked. And so he was hanging out with the other kids, or at least that's what his parents thought. And they went looking for him after a day of traveling, because remember, they had to walk a 5 days journey to get to and from their destination. And when his parents went to look for him, he wasn't there. And they had to walk all the way back to the town they started from, Jerusalem, and they found him hanging out in the temple, which is kind of like the church. And he was hanging out with the teachers there, and he was asking the teachers I wonder questions. And they were asking him some questions, and they were really impressed with how smart he was. And I know how smart you are, so I'm going to ask you to hold out your hands, and we're going to do something that may be fun. Go ahead and take one. Yeah, or two, or whatever, take one. This is an apricot. Oh, well, here. You take another one. Jay, you want to take one? Chase, do you want to take one? Grandma, you want to take one? Okay. And let's feel it. And here's a fun game. It's, I wonder how God is like an apricot. If you were to compare God to an apricot, what would you say? What'd you say? Sweet, yes. When you take God and you add God's Son, it gets even sweeter. Let's see if it tastes sweet. That's pretty sweet. This is my breakfast. Okay. Any other ideas? How's God like an apricot? Or I wonder something about apricots? Any ideas? Because if not, we've got. Any ideas in the choir? How's God like an apricot? What? Oh. I can't hear much from down here. Let's give you each one of these to feel. Hold in your hand. And ask yourself, how might God be like a noodle? What's your answer?
Strong.
It is strong. Like, it is very, like, watch this. It can probably hold up one of you. It could probably hold up one of you. You don't want to be eating that, do you? Oh, well, when I was a kid, I think I tried that once. Okay, so God is strong. What else about this noodle reminds you about God? If you put it in water, yeah, you can put it in chicken noodle soup, and chicken noodle soup is what you eat when you're feeling sick, and that's something that God does. God's present with you and takes care of you. See that? All of that just from a noodle and popcorn. If I put this in the microwave, it pops. How is God like popcorn? If you don't have a lid on it, it goes all over the place like God's love. There's no way to put a lid on God's love and God's grace. You want to heat that up? Just sort of sit on it, and that'll add enough time. Jesus was a 12-year-old boy, and he was in the temple, and he was making observations. He was saying things about God that left the teachers, the older people, going, wow, I never thought of that. That is wonderful. 12 years, what's 12 years old like? Are you 12 years old, Ben? No, you're getting close to 12 years old? You're 12 years old. You're going to be 12 years old in a couple, yeah, almost. 12 years old is when you kind of have a little bit more independence, right? You're allowed to do more things. And you start to figure out, this is what I like in life. And that's what was happening with Jesus when he was 12 years old. His parents came and said, where were you? We're looking all over the place for you. And he said, well, why would you have to look so hard to find me? I was here in God's house, in my Father's house. And his parents realized, oh, we never thought of that and how Jesus is. Anyway, that's the story. And you're going to go to children's worship and you're going to do some crafts, and maybe you'll be able to connect that craft with the story, who knows. But before we do, you know what we should do? We should give a blessing to the adults. You want to stand up on the pew and turn around? And let's find someone out there and look him in the eyeballs and say, may God bless you as you stay to hear God's word. And they'll say, may God bless you as you go to hear God's word. All right. Have fun in there. Oh, thank you.